Hey everybody, welcome to Quick Builds. This is my new series where the entire point is to show you a fully functional build in under 5 minutes. So let's get into it. And today's build is going to be the Osteo Necrotic Grip Strand build that everybody's talking about. Alright, and first we're going to start off this build by going over the weapons. Now, of course, the main weapon that you're going to need is Osteo Striga. And yes, you are going to want that catalyst because that catalyst is going to give you stability and reload speed. Build the Osteo Striga however you want. Funny enough, this build tickled me because I've been using the Osteo since Witch Queen released. Now, as for your secondary slot, it really doesn't matter. You're focusing on your Osteo Striga. However, I recommend fusion rifles, especially Iterative Loop. You can get this from Neomuna. The reason I recommend this is you have Compulsive Reloader with Volt Shot. It makes it a great utility weapon. After that, it's going to be your heavy weapon. Now, rocket launchers are meta right now, and since I'm using an arc weapon, I went with another arc weapon, so that if you decide to change this around and have ammo reserves or any other sort of damage mods, you can, and they will synergize. Alright, and with that, we're going to get into the subclass itself. Use the rift that you prefer. Healing rift is for me, as I care about survivability, jump, whatever you prefer. We have one melee. You can't choose anything else. Now, the most important part, you do need a shackle grenade. This is the heart of the build besides the other things. And now we're going to go over the aspects. Weaver's Call does nothing that really helps you outside of just give you some extra damage. The Threadlings are not your main focus of this build. But this, however, Mindspun Invocation is the most important fragment. Now, there's only 2 at the moment, so it doesn't really matter, but this will allow you to consume your Shackle Grenade and activate Weaver's Trance. While Weaver's Trance is activated, it will create a suspending detonation when you kill things. That's how the synergy will start, and we'll see that in a second. And of course, after that, we're going to go into fragments. Now, Thread of Continuity, this is a flex spot. You can choose whatever you want here. However, Suspend, Unravel, and Sever effects applied to target have increased duration. That is what I went with. You're going to want Thread of Fury. Damage targets with Tangle grants melee energy. That's great for also sending out pulses of the Necrotic Grips, since you get 3 of them. Now you got Thread of Mind. This is defeating suspended targets grants class ability energy. You're going to want that because your well is going to play an integral part on getting your grenades back quickly as well. And then finally, Thread of Generation. Dealing damage grants grenade energy. This is incredibly important for this build. You cannot run this build without this. You can, you would just be hindering yourself. And of course, now moving on to the mods. For the helmet slot, we went ahead and went with 2 kinetic siphons. You are going to be doing primarily all of your killing with your Osteo Striga, so you're going to want to generate orbs as much as possible. This is a fill spot. I put heavy ammo finder, as heavy ammo is probably one of the most important things. Now for your Necrotic Grips, or your arm slot specifically, you're going to want a grenade throw, and I chose with 2 focusing strikes. Grant class ability energy when you cause damage with a melee. I do believe that these are really the best in slot. You can always equip Grenade Kickstart or Font of Focus. It's really up to you. However, I prefer this as it doesn't eat up my orbs. Now, for your chest, I went for as much resistance as I could because that's probably the one thing that this build does lack to some degree, but you're also killing stuff so quick that it doesn't matter. So we have Font of Endurance, which gain bonus resilience. This is an AoE damage reduction, and of course, to throw in for a 1-slot strand resist, even though that's not that important. For your legs, you're going to want 2 kinetic weapon surges. These are going to allow your Osteo Striga to do a lot more damage, and because you'll be creating so many orbs with the Osteo Striga, you're going to want recuperation, which replenishes health on each time you pick up an orb. Trust me, you're going to be generating a lot of orbs. And for your class item, now this one is kind of up to you. I have 2 bomber mods and 1 distribution. You can fit 2 distributions, 1 bomber mod. You can do melee energy if you think you're getting your grenade back fast enough. It is entirely up to you when it comes to the mods. Alright, and while this gameplay goes, I'm going to go ahead and go over the pros and the cons. So, the pros, it has amazing ad clear. It's good at all levels of play. And it's amazing against champion. Now the cons. The boss DPS is pretty lacking. That is due to the fact that there is just not a lot besides your super and your heavy for doing good DPS. And the final con. Honestly, it's kind of boring. I'm not going to lie. It does get boring clearing rooms in an instant. It takes away a lot of the challenge, but if that's for you, then that's great. PvE viability 4.5 out of 5, and PvP 2. Don't use Osteo in PvP. Bye.